Hey, hey, family. Auntie BB is back. But I guess you're wondering, where's Auntie been? Well, family, I am going to tell you, but first, I need you to grab them cups, and I hope that water is still cold. That coffee is oh so hot, and that tea is sweet. But if you got to have some hot chocolate, make sure you're tossing in some marshmallows, all right? Let's get into it. Well, family, the ending of 2021, Auntie BB was caught up in the pandemonium. Yes, I got sick with COVID pneumonia at that, and I was out of commission. I couldn't talk or anything of that nature. But I'm here and I'm about to give you guys my story as to what went on with Auntie BB during this COVID fight that she had. It was scary, y'all. But I'm here right now. I made it through. I got a few issues, but Auntie BB is a fighter, baby. So let me tell you what happened. Well, I do not know exactly where I contacted COVIDian is who I call it, but I did. And I started feeling sick after Christmas. And it was an off and on thing until I got tested. And well, I did an at home test. And of course, it was positive, and I kind of knew that it was going to be. I was hoping that it wasn't, but it came back positive. Well, I called my doctor, and they wanted me to come in and get tested by them so they can have a record and they can tell me, if it was true or not. Well, went to the doctor, and they don't let you come in. I had to sit in my car, y'all. Well, my truck. And they test you through the window. Yeah, you guys know how that is if you went to any of these testing sites. And they came back a few minutes later and said, yeah, you are positive. Well, we need you to go home and get some rest. But if you get a fever or your oxygen level goes under 90%, please give us a call and possibly call 911 if it gets any worse than that. Well, I was doing good, but bam! Auntie got a fever. Oh, I was so scared. My oxygen levels was still good and still because I have one of those little oxygen things that you put on your finger that they have in the hospital or doctor's office, clinics, wherever you go. And it was good. But when I got the fever, I was like, oh boy. Well, I didn't have much medicine here, but I had some ibuprofen and I took that and the fever broke. Rubbed myself down like we did when we was kids. Some of y'all may know and some may not. But you get the alcohol and you get babies an alcohol bath when they little and they babies and they get a fever. Yeah. Auntie gave herself a good old rub down with the alcohol and took some ibuprofen and I felt better. The fever broke. Well, then I started having other kind of pains in my legs and chills and all of that kind of stuff started going on. Well, I was having the chills before, but it was off and on. But the pains in my legs and y'all, ooh, it just got really bad. And then breathing started getting shallow and my oxygen levels started going up and down, up and down, up and down until one day I was moving around trying to get it together and still having few problems in breathing, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fight through. I'm gonna fight through because I'm a fighter, and that's what I do. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And all of a sudden, I was just like, okay, this ain't cool. This ain't cool. I got scared. But before that, the night before that happened, that day happened. And y'all can look at Auntie BB upside her head all you want, but some of you all out there may agree with me. I am a dreamer when it happens, and I dream signs. Um, answers to situations. And this is when I'm really alert into my inner, okay, and my inner and my outer. And I had a dream, and I was in this dream with my mom, my adoptive mom, who's deceased now and has been since 1999. And I was in this dream with her, and she was driving one of my favorite vehicles. I love this car. I've never driven this car before, only in my dreams. And it's a 1957 Chevy convertible, sky blue, red seats. I don't know why I have picked this car and why I love this car, but I do. She was driving that car. And I kept jumping in the passenger seat, riding around with her. And she would go to different places and beat me back to the car and try to pull off without me. And I would always catch up and jump in the car with her. There were a couple of times where I almost didn't catch her, and she would look back and smile and like, shake her head like, no, no. But this one last time it happened, and I was too far away from the car to jump into it. And she looked back at me, and I'm like, wait, Mom, wait. And she turned and she said, you can't go with me. And I was like, but you're going to leave me here? You're going to leave me standing here? She said, but you can't go with me. It's not time for you to go with me. And she drove off, and I'm standing there, don't know where I was standing, but it seemed like I was standing in a place I didn't want to be standing in. And I'm like, you just gonna leave me right here? And when I said that the last time, I woke up. And this is when all of that breathing issue started happening. And I took that as a sign to say it wasn't my time. But baby, when I tell you it felt like it, when you are struggling to breathe, just sitting, woo, that is not a good feeling. And guys, I live in a duplex, so upstairs and downstairs. I finally got myself dressed, and I'm crying, and I'm talking to my sweetheart on the phone, and I'm like, this is hard, and and trying to do things. And I said, okay, I got to get downstairs. And I went to take a step, and I couldn't step down the stairs because the air just wasn't there for me to keep moving. I had to sit down and slide down the stairs. And each time I hit a stair, it was the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. My God, it was just trying to gasp for air to slide down the stairs is something. I'm crying and I'm trying, and I'm just like, oh God, help me. Oh God, help me. I finally get down the stairs, and then I'm like, I get off the phone, I get to the couch, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm like, okay, 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 okay. And I'm trying to get it together, and I hang up, and I'm calling certain people, and they're like, call 911. Well, I didn't, because this is just something with Auntie. I have a fear of ambulance. Yes, I don't know what you would call that. I'm going to look it up and find out what the word is for that, but I do have a fear of getting into an ambulance. And this goes back to my adoptive mom and her last ride in an ambulance. And I've always had that fear. Okay. But anyway, moving on. So I'm like, no, I can't do that. Call 911. You need to go to and this was just a couple of people that I called. So I, I got back on the phone with my sweetie, and they said, call your son, one of them, tell him to come and take you to the hospital. So I called my youngest son, and he dropped everything, and he came from Denton to the 44, and he got here. But until he got here, I had to get up and go unlock my doors. You guys, how I live, I bolt all my doors. Everything is bolted because I I'm from Chicago, and I ain't trying for nobody to be coming in my house, okay? Be busting down my door. So everything is bolted. So I had to get to the door with shallow breaths and it hurting to breathe. Hurts to breathe. I'm breathing, but it's really, really hard and it's very shallow. And I get to the door and I lock it. Now I got to get to a seat somewhere and wait for him. Oh my God, it felt like it was forever. But he got here and he got me to the emergency room, and I thank God for him. And I know when he saw me and when I was trying to get to his car, I felt him get scared. And a mother feeling their child scared for them, that's another feeling that you do not want. And I felt it. And I was just like, God, please. I know it's not my time, but please help me. Help me and help him. And he got me to the emergency room, guys. And of course, I was in the hospital. They, had to sit in the emergency area for a little while. Then they tried to make me walk, and I couldn't walk, and felt like I was just gonna pass out walking. I made 2 steps, and that was it. I was like literally like I no, 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 and they had to put me back in the seat because I was out of breath from just those 2 steps, and they were like half steps, baby steps. Well, I sat in the waiting area to get checked in. Seemed like forever, guys. And I got stories about that area. The people that come into the emergency room and the things that happen in the emergency room. Most of the time I was asleep, but when I was woke, well, they finally put me in one of those sideway rooms, those quickie rooms that they have in the emergency room that has a bed and everything. I stayed in there long enough for them to get a room ready for me. I was in the hospital for 5 days on oxygen, and they put me on vitamins, a lot of vitamins, and a lot of these vitamins I was already taking, but I guess I wasn't taking enough of them. And I also had steroid shots. Now, who chunky auntie don't need steroid shots is me. But I had to get them in order to help my lungs out and get this virus out of me, or get everything down. But 5 days in the hospital and 5 days of hospital food and 5 days of not being able to go to the bathroom without anybody, to take a shower, to sit in a tub. They finally on day 2 gave me a toothbrush and something to wipe myself down with. But family, after all of that said and done, of course, I had to come home. When I did come home, I had to be on oxygen, and they gave me oxygen tanks. And y'all, I was walking around like the cigarette smoking lady in the long commercial with the long cord. I was like, oh no, Auntie can't do this. I might be chunky, but I'm cute too, and I can't be walking around like this. Well, you guys, I have been off of the oxygen, weaned myself off the oxygen for a few days now. And I am so happy about that. Yes, I still have a few issues with breathing and things of that nature, but once I get myself back to exercising and building myself up more, I am going to be better than before. Now, with all of this being said and done, I am not coming on here to tell you guys which way to go with your lives. I'm just giving you my story as to what happened to me and where I've been. Okay? And I hope you guys will take this on and take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. If you got to wear the mask, just wear the mask. Wash your hands and take your vitamins. Okay? Get you some sun, some vitamin D, and do what you need to do. I'm not here advocating for a shot or no shot or vaccinations or boosters or whatever. I'm not here for it. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. That's on you. Auntie is just here giving you her story as to what happened to her and where she was. But I'ma still need you all to do what you got to do to make sure that you are safe and that the people around you are safe. If you coughing, put your hand over your mouth. And if you feel sick, don't go nowhere. Okay? Stay in the house. All right? I don't understand why we got to keep telling grown folks this. All right? And family, with that being said, Auntie is going to be right back. All right?